Rap is poetry, and it is thought-provoking, and there's thought behind it, and there's great writing in rap as well. You know, you never hear rappers being compared for like the greatest writers of all time. You know, you hear Bob Dylan, it was so is Biggie Smalls, like in a Hitchcock way. You know, some of the things that Biggie wrote. Rakim, I mean, listen to some of the things he wrote. I mean, if you take those lyrics and you pull them away from the music and you put them up on the wall somewhere and someone had to look at them, this is genius work. So I want people to take that away. I want people to also take away the quick judgments. Listen to the song, listen to its intent. So I really wanted to lay this out in a clear, concise way that people could look at it and say, okay, and if there's thought and there's intelligence.
Homie, I'ma show you the growth of a soldier. Don't ask something when the world turned colder. Mama wasn't younger, love slept on the sofa. 62 a bunk bed, how am I supposed to wake up for school when I'm uncomfortable? Classroom bully, want my lunch money too. Papa was a rolling stone and drunk often. Tried to convince my mom to get an abortion.
This is a Silk exclusive.
Welcome to another episode of Words, Music, Dance. I'm your host as always, Paulie the Bull, no relation to Gravano. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. You know, I appreciate you. Hi, Mom. Today, got a first timer to the show, or first timer to the channel. Greg's been on the channel before, but he was on a great pending episode about Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers. So welcome back, Greg. The homie Big L, aka Lauren, from Jers, New Jerusalem. He's the homie. First time, welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure having you here. You know, appreciate you for coming through, sharing the conversation. And Big John, you know what I'm saying? You've been here numerous times. See you
How you doing?
all
How
the
you
time.
doing?
You one of the regulars, but I still appreciate you. Still glad to have you back. So fellas, you know, right off the bat, you know, thank you. Like once again, appreciate you guys for being here. Just you know, I always appreciate having good conversation with friends, and hip hop's been in the conversation once again. You know what I'm saying? We just ended a rap battle, and a lot of people on the internet still talking about Kendrick dragging it and things like that. But I still want to talk about it a little bit because I haven't heard how you guys feel about it. John, I think we spoke about it a little bit briefly. You know
Yeah, a
what
little
I'm saying? Last week. So let me get the fellas, L and Greg, see how y'all feel about it. So L, since this is your first time to the show, let's you know, break the ice real quick with you. How did you feel overall about the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef battle? How'd you feel about that?
I would say initially it started off like pretty light. Like I would say it was almost like an exhibition for me. Like, you know, it was like a few things like, you know, you come out with your own biases, but you know, I thought Drake, he had a good, you know, first volley, if we was to call it that. Kendrick came right back, you know, and with Euphoria. And I was like, all right, well, you know, this is pretty good. Drake came back again. And then it was like after that, Kendrick was like, you know, if you think this is just us exchanging pleasantries, nah, like it's time to bring the big guns out. And after that, it was just, to me, it was a complete slaughter. Like on Kendrick's part. I mean, if you want to call it a score, you know, if you want to go hit for hit, it's all right. But to me, at the end of the day, that almost remind me like of, you know, when the Locks battled Dipset. Like, you know, it came out, everybody was good, and then afterwards, you know, your face just went to shock, like, yo, this just got ugly afterwards. Like, nah, man. Like,
That's
throw in the
perfect.
towel. Like, you got to get that meme from Rocky with the coach in the corner, like, throw in the towel. Like, that's what you need to be at. You know what I'm saying?
Greg, talk to me. We spoke about it a little bit back and forth as it was going on, but
Right.
now that the dust is settled and you know everything is what it is, how did you feel overall about that battle?
I mean, Kendrick did his thing. As I look at it, and every time things, you see different memes and videos that break down, how he set up his bars, how he do the video. It's like it starts. It's like, did he really do that, or are they reaching? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, honestly, I felt like you said at the beginning, like I said at the beginning, it was cool. It was like a little sparring match. It got real for me when I heard Meet the Grams.
I think that's when it got real for everybody.
Yes, sir.
I was on patrol and I had to pull my car over because I was like, whoa, like, what is this guy on? Like, you know what I'm saying? First of all, the diss record came from Drake and he just dropped that right immediately. It was like you knew he had this in the pocket. How long has that been recorded? You know what I mean? Like he been wanting Drake since the Cypher. And Drake finally did. And I'm pretty sure he wished he did. But to me, I feel like Meet the Grams was the best song. Everybody loves Not Like Us. I guess because it's commercial, has a little whatever to it. But to me, I feel like Meet the Grams was the best out of all of them collectively. But at this point, I'm over
it. I think Meet the Grams was the game changer.
Right.
It was definitely like it may not be the song that people gonna play over and over again, like you said. Not Like Us is the hit, but Meet the Grams was that uppercut that was like, oh, I'm rocking. Okay, I'm stuttering a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what changed the game. Kev, welcome to the show. Welcome back. Big Kev is here. You're a little late, but it's all good.
Man, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Kev is the 2021Vision official hater. Kev hates everything. You know what I'm saying? You've seen him on the show a couple times, but it'd be good to get your point of view as well. Still, we need some hate in our life every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick called himself the biggest hater. I think you give him a little run for that. So, but what was your thoughts on the Kendrick and Drake battle?
I mean, I hate that Not Like Us song. I hate that shit. Yo. I hate the video, I hate the song, I hate the beat, I hate the dancing. I hate all of that.
Okay.
I know it's like the most popular song in the last 10 years. This shit is annoying. It's like ringtone era music. Like this would be everybody's ringtone right now if this was 5-10 years ago.
I mean, I think it's some people's ringtones now.
That's crazy.
So what specifically do you hate about it, though? You just say you hate everything.
I just don't like. It's nothing I like about it.
Nothing. You don't like nothing. The bars, the melody, the voice on it.
I mean, it's just not for me. Most of the shit I don't like none of Kendrick music. So it's like 90% of that shit. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't even know who us is. Is he talking about Americans or is he talking about people in Compton?
You remind me of the Mad Rapper.
Nah, it's like.
So Kev, let me ask you, Kev, so what song do you feel that Drake won the battle or?
No, I mean I know he lost.
Okay.
I like that last song he did, but then I wish he didn't say he going on vacation. Like if he didn't say that, he would have killed. That song was fire.
The beat or just
the Heart 6?
Yeah, the Heart Part 6.
I don't know the name of that shit. Man.
Yeah, that was the last song Drake did, the Heart Part 6.
He was like nigga da 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 da.
So you talking about Family Matters?
That was fire.
Okay.
That was fire. And then after that, it's over. Kendrick came with this shit like the same day, and then the world ended.
Now, like I said, I said it on the last episode, and I'll say it again. Like I feel like Family Matters was good against everybody else. It didn't really do anything to Kendrick, because the best part of it was, like he said, when he was on that drill flow. He said he opened the door on the Good Kid, Mad City van, and he said Kendrick's best bars is when Baby Keem writes it. that's false because Kendrick actually wrote for
Then it's
Keeney,
like, look who's
and none of that
talking.
really kills Kendrick. So the best
It's
stuff he
like,
said
look
today
who's
was about
talking.
Ross
It's
and
like
the
Drake
weekend.
is talking about niggas who getting their songs written for them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And if it was true, like, who are you to say that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
why Family Matters to me didn't do it because he didn't say much. He didn't say enough to me against Kendrick. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's
I mean, he called
why.
him short a few times.
Yeah.
And
You know what I'm saying?
he had nothing to say.
But I
and
thought
and,
it was
and then the
whack though.
fact that Kendrick came right back with Meet the Grams, it shut that down completely. Because like I said, to me Drake didn't say enough anyway, and the
Yeah.
fact that he had Meet the Grams uploaded on the Wi-Fi, press submit, press send, and it was already
That's so crazy.
there. So this,
I think Drake was leaning on the fact that he could make a hit and make it catchy, and that would be enough without
but I
any
think he should
content or
have
substance
stuck with
to
that.
it.
That's why I said to me, Push Ups was Drake's best song because to me that was
Yeah,
the
I agree.
hit. The
I
drop
agree.
and give me 50. Drop it like it
Yeah.
was catchy. That was the type of music I expected. That's why and I said it last week, but I'll say it again. I was a little worried when I heard Push Ups and then Euphoria, because to me Push Ups was the better song, and I'm like Drake is gonna hit. He's gonna hit song him. He's gonna hit record him, and win that way. Because Kendrick can make hits, but he's more deep, thought provoking, and got more. He's more meticulous and articulate. And I'm like, that ain't gonna work in his battle. Like, you got to come straight out and just disrespect him. And then Drake went away from his own game plan, and that's how I feel he lost. Like he tried to,
He tried to rap.
so he should have just kept with the hits. Push-ups was to me was the hit. Like I still play push-ups to this day. Like I like push-ups. You know what I'm saying? But he went away. He tried to do the whole
The new
drill
Thriller.
thing. What'd you say, Kev?
He made the new Thriller.
I don't know about all that.
The new Macarena is
But
back.
we could talk. So one of the questions that when I had the conversation prior, shout out to Gene, shout out to Rel, we were talking about the big three that they quote unquote self-proclaimed themselves, Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole. And one of the questions that I had in that conversation that we had was which one of them have classic albums, or if how many do they have? So I'm gonna ask you guys. Said we start with. I believe Kendrick is now the new number one. He said, "Fuck the big three, it's just Big Me." So does Kendrick have classic albums? Do you guys think 1, 2, 3?
As far as Kendrick's concerned, when it comes to classic albums, for me, I feel like I can listen to every Kendrick offering from Section 80 to whatever the last thing he put out and not have to skip. Kendrick is definitely, like you said, a meticulous thinker. So the average person is not going to want to sit there and listen to different flows, the different styles, and also the content. You know what I'm saying? They don't want storylines. A lot of people, they just want something they could listen to. They want the drug. They want the hustler music. And all that is good. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you need a big step as a Mr. Morale, like to get you thinking. And sometimes people need certain type of music to help them through certain things. And I feel like Kendrick to me has about, I want to say To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City.
Damn.
Those are classics to me.
So you saying he got 2 classics?
I'll say 2, yeah.
Okay.
If
El,
we're
what
not
you
counting,
got?
I got 3.
You got 3? All right, what's your 3?
Yeah.
Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly. I really like Damn. I think Damn was like uniquely, it's still classic Kendrick, but it also has that crossover appeal to it. So I was like, I'll put that up there. I mean, hell, Mr. Morale, like to me, every Section 80 is like every album Kendrick puts out. And I don't want to sound like the young kids where they say you glazing or whatnot, but every album this man puts out is a work of art, man.
I mean, he won a Pulitzer. His
Every
album's being
album he
discussed
puts
in
out is a work
school.
of art.
So Kev, I know you don't agree. You
I'm waiting to hear what Kev got to say.
Kendrick got any classics, Kev? What you?
I think Kendrick and Drake are tied with 0 classic albums.
Well, we didn't get to Drake yet.
I'm just saying.
This is diabolical hating here.
This is why he's needed in this conversation.
What happened?
What's the dude from the Play Haters Bowl? The Jerry Curl juice from the Play Haters Bowl?
I think the Good Kid, Mad City album is, I could tolerate it. Pimp a Butterfly is that guidance counselor music that I don't like. And
guidance counselor music. All right, we're gonna move on for you, Kev. I mean, John, what you got? How many?
All right. So personally, Good Kid, Mad City, classic.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that To Pimp a Butterfly is a classic, but I do believe that the outside world, another 4 or 5 years, they will appreciate that work of art that it really is. But for me, it's a classic, and I do think Damn is a classic. And same thing being said, I do think Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers will be considered a classic over the next few years once more people appreciate the artwork behind it. But I give him 3 official classics in my opinion for Kendrick, for K-Dot. You know, I agree his substance, his music. When I look at a classic, you know how I break shit down. Like my shit is lyrical content, hits, sales, world reception, how they look at it, how it went through, and playability years later. I still got Good Kid, Mad City in my shit now. When I got shit this year, I already deleted. So, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it. I'm going with 3 though.
Okay. So we got about 2 that everybody except for Kev agrees on, and Damn is a maybe. And
Damn is cool because you can play it both ways.
Yeah.
You can play it from the end to the beginning. You can play it from the last track to the first, and the first track to the last. But it's definitely that's another one of those things where he's just too crazy of a thinker.
I think that's great marketing. I think the album is still the same album when you play it backwards. You're just playing it backwards. And we're going to talk about it as well later with the Slim Shady album, because I've seen that same theory. If you play it backwards, it's telling the difference. No, it's not. You play it backwards, you listen to it backwards. That's all. Okay? Damn is...
I don't agree with those 2 things. Damn, I agree with. I don't agree with the Slim Shady album.
Yeah, but like I said, we'll talk about that later. So as far as Drake, John, do you feel Drake has any?
You already know the answer. Drake has 0 classics. So here's my thing. I tried. I have listened to I'm not. You know me. I'm not one of the people that I talk without doing my work. I've listened to all of Drake's albums. I've slaved through the terribleness of listening to all those albums. The consensus from everybody, the consensus is that Thank Me Later is his best album. So that's the one that I revisited was Thank Me Later, and I went through it. And so here's my problem. Obviously, hits are there. That's going to be there. Sales going to be there. Worldwide reception is going to be there. Replayability, it being worth it. There's a couple of songs on there, but there's quite a few skips. But on top of that, the songs that were hits, for me at least, in my opinion, like I already wrote it down. You have like Motto, Headline, Yeah Right, Yeah Hell Yeah, Yeah Right. Like there's songs that were played so much that I don't care to listen to ever again. Like I'm good with never hearing them again. That's not a classic to me. Shit, like, you know, I Ain't Mad at Ya from Tupac will play and people will still bump it and listen. They're not going to skip it. That's a classic. You know what I mean? To me, it's a difference. So for me, for Drake to Thank Me Later, I don't feel I feel that's his best argument for a classic. But not only does it have some regular skips like Cameras or like what's that shit, the Underground Kings. Like he has some regular skips, but on top of that, even his hits.
You talking about Take Care?
Yeah, Take Care. I'm sorry, Take Care. That's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, Take Care. That's how bad I don't know Drake albums. Like it's just terrible. Like there's not one Drake album that's in my like. I have a few of his songs. In my opinion, I said this on one of your podcasts. I think mad long ago. I think with Steven, aka Drake, was that for Drake to have a classic album, he would have to release a greatest hits album. That's the only way he'll have a classic album. He'll have to release a greatest hits album, which to me doesn't count, but to the world it does count. But nah, I go with 0 classics Drake. 0 classics. 1 million albums, 0 classics.
Okay. Kev, how do you feel about it? Well, I think you already said it.
I agree. I mean,
I think that's the only thing me and Kevin don't agree on today.
That joint, what's that shit with the Toronto thing on the cover? He's sitting on the thing. Forgot the name.
Views. Yeah, Views.
That shit gave me a period. Like I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? This is gay. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I have a period now. So yeah, That was like super trash.
Mm-hmm.
Drake ain't got it. He ain't got a classic. It's okay though. You don't have to have a classic.
Mm-hmm. Right. No. I said that before. It's like, in my opinion, Busta Rhymes doesn't have a classic album, but he could sell out a show just giving you all his hits. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't think he has one album, but all his hits, he gonna give you an hour show from all his joints, and you gonna be rocking the whole time.
Busta Rhymes is trash in person. Just
I'm just saying, go back to extinction level event for Busta Rhymes. I think you should go back to that.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's
Busta Rhymes in person. He don't sing his songs the way it sound. He just every song he go. It's like, what the fuck? That's not how the song go, nigga. Every song, him and Spliff Star. Man, we ain't talking about that.
Yeah, we're not talking about Buzz, but that was just like I said, you don't have to have a classic, but you can still tour, you can still sell records, you can still, you know what I'm saying? Ludacris, I don't think he has a classic album either, but I think he's a great lyricist. I think he's nice, like he can freestyle.
Who listen to a whole Ludacris album?
I don't think nobody does.
But Paul, question for you though, Paul. To be considered a top 5 MC, you do need a classic album, no?
Well, that's where it gets.
Not a rapper, but an MC.
Yeah,
I feel like you need a classic album.
I think so too. I think so too. Yeah.
But I was just curious. Also, side note, I wrote on my notes for Take Care. One of the highlights of the album is K-Dot's interlude. Just want to say that.
Which another thing that Drake dropped the ball on their battle, because he on his Instagram page, he I guess mocked the Kendrick Buried Alive verse. And not a lot of people saw it because they was playing Family Matters on YouTube, but he posted it on his Instagram, that page. And if he'd have ran with that and kind of dissed him using his alien voice, as people call it, that probably would have got him a little more points. But I think he dropped the ball not really leaning into that. And like I said, Family Matters wasn't what it was supposed to be, so I think he dropped the ball on that one a little bit too. So, yeah.
I think that Kendrick voices is dope.
We're not talking about that right now, Mr. Hater. We're not. Does Drake have a classic album?
Look, as Jace mentioned before, Drake does not have any classic albums. Period. Okay. I named every last one of them, and I think that he hit on it in terms of like relevance, hits, reception, all of that stuff. Like, it's just that replayability, that ability to go back to it. Like, Drake is a dude where you hear his hits, like, I won't get into my car and say, yo, let me just go and bump this Take Care album. Something like that. Like, no, you're not saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Jay for going back to do the homework, because, I ain't doing it. I'm not going back to sitting through a whole Drake album. Like, no, it's just, he just doesn't have it. Like, he can make a collection of hits, just like Jay said, and that will probably be his greatest album. Just take all his greatest hits and let him drop it by a specific name, and that would be his classic album. He doesn't have classic albums.
Got it. Yeah. And Greg, what you got? Does Drake have a classic album?
Should I be let me listen.
Be honest, however you feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's your opinion.
Thank Me Later, right? I wouldn't call it classic.
So the first album?
The first album.
Okay.
Thank Me Later was, to me, his best album. If we want to go back to something that I really liked when it came down to Drake, we can go to So Far Gone, mixtape Drake. Mm-hmm. I believe once Thank Me Later was done and he realized where the money was, that's when it became the melodic Drake, the one note singing on every song to put you to sleep Drake. We don't like that shit.
Right.
But it sells. Mm-hmm. And like everybody else, I put myself through the torture because I always feel like when he wants to rap, we got the the guest features, the stage schemings, you know, the timestamp joints, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m.s and all that, where it's like this nigga spitting bars, and you hope that he go back to that, and then he might have a track or two where he might be saying some stuff, and then he's back to carooning, and that's where he loses me at.
Right.
So, you know, no, I don't think he has an actual classic.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nobody want to hear that Barry Manilow Drake. Like,
there you go.
Barry Manilow.
I tried with Thank Me Later, but the minute it started, like fireworks, I was like, nah, I can't. Like, I hate that song.
Thank Me Later. I think it was funny because Drake always talk about how he helps people and their careers and all that. And Thank Me Later had a Jay-Z feature, Nicki, Wayne, T.I., Jeezy, Alicia Keys, Swiss Beats. Like it had
whole fucking industry.
Yeah. So he always talk about how he helped people and how he put people on. You sure got a lot of help in your debut album, but you know, it's neither here nor there. I do like Thank Me Later. I did like Take Care, and then yeah, he kind of went. What was it? What was the one where he was the little kid on the cover looking sideways?
Nothing Was the Same, I think.
Nothing Was the Same. I love that intro, Tuscan Leather, when he was rapping on it. Love that intro. And then track 2, he started singing. I was like, all right, turn this off.
But Paul, you said you like the first two. Paul, you said you like the first two. Are they classics in your opinion?
No. And I think most people argue, like you said, Take Care. And I think because that had that unique sound, but it was the Weeknd sound. That was that airy, you know, bass heavy sound that the Weeknd made popular and made famous and went mainstream with. And once him and the Weeknd stopped rocking, he lost that sound. You know, and he never got it back. But I think if there was any album that I could probably play through, it's those first two. Is those. But to me, are they classic? And do I go back to the no? I unfortunately did some homework like John did and went back one day and tried to play through it just to see if I'm bugging. And I was like, yeah, nah.
This ain't it.
And last but not least in the big three, J. Cole. Do y'all feel that J. Cole has any classic albums?
Forest Hills Drive.
That's it.
Okay, so you got one, Forest Hill Drive?
That's it for me.
Okay. L, you agree with that?
I agree. Forest Hills.
Okay. So only that one. So just that one?
Yeah, for some reason with Cole, it's like as great as he is, he gets lost in melodic type stuff too from time to time, and you know that kind of like makes certain tracks you want to skip over and stuff like that. I mean, for the majority of his albums you can listen to, but for me, Forest Hills is probably the only. I mean, I could listen to all his albums without skipping, I guess, but to say that they're classics, I wouldn't say that. Forest Hills, he got a bunch of stuff that's on the cuffs of it. You know what I'm saying? But definitively, that's the only one for me.
Kev, does Cole have a classic?
I don't think so. I mean, he might, but I'm not qualified because I cannot listen to I would not attempt to listen to a J. Cole album. The first one was trash, like his debut, and then he came back with the dreads, and I'm like, nah, I wrote him off. He made a song about the first time he fucked a girl or some shit, and I'm like, I can't.
Talking about Wet Dreams.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of that shit, but it was like, I can't listen to this shit. Then he said some shit, rest in peace to Uncle Phil, started his song like that. Like, yeah, this ain't for me. I'm real picky with my music, man.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So, John, do you feel Cole got any classics?
So I also went through his discography again. I actually really liked his debut album, his Cold World. I actually did. I enjoyed the album. I went through it and I was like, yo, it has a lot of songs and not many skips. Doesn't make it a classic automatically, but doesn't have any skips. And I was like, that one I could argue possibly. But to me, my favorite album is KOD actually, which is one of his. Some people, original fans, hate that album, and newer fans like. One, you already know me. If you sample soul type music, you already have me won. Like on certain things, you already have me won. But overall, when you tell a story, the way you tell, the way you go about certain things, I love it. So to me, that album for me is a classic. I still listen to that album to this day, start to finish. I don't have no skips. Motivate, the hook gets annoying a little bit, but it's still a good song. Like what he's talking about, the content is still there. But I do like that one, so I fuck with that. A lot of people, when I was looking at it, I was looking through forums and like that, see other people's opinions just to see what they look at. A lot of people do say Forest Hill Drive. To me, that has quite a few skips on it for my personal taste. So I can't put it there. But I would say he has at least one classic.
To me, Forest Hill Drive is his worst album.
Really?
I think it's his worst album.
But a lot of people feel it's his best. Like they really do. I think I wasn't a fan of his. Not his last shit, but the one before that. That like he's on a basketball court, like fire behind him or some shit like that.
Actually, that was pretty solid too.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not really feeling this one. His other one with a folding clothes and shit. I was like, it's good, but it's not a classic. For me, it's KOD personally. But question, since if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to cut off things too fast, but I feel like we all took on those big three. I feel like Big Sean always tries to fight for the big three spot. We all agree he's not in the big three.
he's big honorable mention.
100%.
That's the honorable mention.
He's a 6-man on a 3-man team.
Yeah, he just right.
I just feel like he tries his hardest to get on it and be like, "Yo, I'm the big three too," and that's not how math works.
I think Big Sean just kept getting sidetracked. He just kept getting caught up in just I don't know, just who he dating and him being bitter because he's not mentioned in that conversation, and just I think he just kept getting sidetracked and just didn't just do his thing. Just do your own thing. Like,
he's another one that when he wants, to, he could rap his ass off.
Yeah,
and he feeds off competition. When you put him on a track with a better artist, he steps his game up like crazy. But when he doesn't, when he's by himself or he's with a lesser artist, it's kind of like lackluster performances.
I think he had the best verse on Control. Kendrick just had the standout verse.
The shock value verse. Yeah.
And even Detroit verse everybody with Royce and all them Detroit artists. I think Sean had the best verse. He just doesn't ride. What'd you say, Greg?
He's a very witty guy. The way he puts his words together is different from everybody else.
I think he's very unique in that. But maybe the thing is he don't have something to rap about. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he don't have a topic or anything to just rap about. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely.
He wanted to be Kanye's Mace. That's what I thought he was going to be.
But then they started beefing because now he's not on the label. He's not on Good Music no more because Kanye allegedly owed him some money or something. So
and now it's over for him.
Yeah, he had a bunch of distractions. Like I said, hopefully he's been freestyling stuff again. Him and Janae had the kid. He back out here, so let's see, where he goes from there.
It's over for Big Sean. It's a wrap.
Yeah. So let's talk about some recent albums that came out. And one topic I wanted to talk to you guys about is, Greg, me and you talked about it a little bit, but Lupe Fiasco. Lupe been subliminally, or maybe not even subliminally, more intentionally just been throwing shots at Kendrick. So with the beef ending and stuff, and I think Lupe wants to smoke now. I don't know why, but he started riding for Drake when people was praising Kendrick. He started saying, Lupe, he started talking about Kendrick just saying stuff, whatever. And then he dropped the Samurai album, which, thematically is him rapping from the perspective of Amy Winehouse as a battle rapper.
What?
So, yeah. I don't know if everybody knew that.
Be too artistic, yo.
and the thing is, because it's from a perspective of a battle rapper or her as a battle rapper, he's throwing shots through the whole album. And I'm wondering if he's throwing shots at Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
So would it be Amy Winehouse coming at Kendrick?
So apparently on the Amy Winehouse documentary, And she had a lot of production from Salam Remy, who did a lot of production for Nas. More on him later. And on the documentary, she said she envies and wished one day she could have been like a battle rapper. So Lupe ran with that one line from the documentary and made an album from her perspective as a battle rapper.
Now that's the prime example of a nigga not having nothing to rap about.
Who asked this?
You know what I'm saying? Because like that's so far fetched. Like,
yeah.
you know,
Now,
to take
did anybody
that
listen to the album though? Did anybody hear it?
I did,
Nope.
of course.
Hell no.
All right, so Greg, what's your thoughts on it? Since you're the only one that heard it. I heard it too, but what's your thoughts on it, Greg?
But you know me, I love Lupe. I love his wordplay. I love that he's technical also, but sometimes you get too technical and people just don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna get a lot of people that's gonna say, oh, I'm gonna listen to Lupe, especially with like what you're saying. With that being said, with the whole Amy Winehouse part of it, it's just like, dude, just put some words together and make some, you know what I'm saying? Make some stuff that we could rap to. But that's what happens with the super lyrical ones. They're good at that, but they're not good at really making it for the masses. So it gets lost, you know, with, you know, in the shuffle of the radio play songs and stuff like that. But to me, honestly, it's a decent album. It doesn't have a lot of replay value for me.
It's only one battle. Like he battles like on the first track, the first two tracks, and the rest
I think
is
that's
like,
where I got lost at. Like
yeah,
the first two tracks are the best ones, but then after that,
because
like,
the rest of it, he's just talking about the feeling of winning the battle.
Right.
I won the battle. Now I'm riding. Like, you know, every song after that is just, that was a great battle. I won.
Right,
and
right.
You know, saying it's like, okay, this album done. Like, right? I'll be finished. Like,
yeah,
that's weird.
And that was it. That was it for me. The first two tracks
are
definitely my rewindable ones. And then, I mean, I could play it straight through, listening to it, vibing or whatever, but it's not like something where I'm going to jump in the car and be like, oh, let me put on this Lupe album today. You know what I'm saying? So,
Same.
I mean, like, I ain't listened to the album personally. I'm just, in my opinion, Lupe, the kind of caliber artist he is, he probably just wants to get his name to be mentioned again, a little clickbait, you know, talk about a higher artist getting a lot more attention now. Lupe, who in my opinion does have a classic album, in my opinion.
100%.
Definitely. Definitely.
Like, so I think Lupe, he has the right to talk, but the fact that no one talks about him, and I feel the general public will be like, who the fuck is Lupe Fiasco? Which is sad, because the dude can rap his ass off without a doubt. He's definitely one of the better rappers and lyricists of that generation. And he kills it. And like I said, to me, he does have a classic album. And arguably maybe two.
Yeah, definitely two for me. If you
so
ask
what,
me.
Food and Liquor and The Cool?
Food and Liquor is guaranteed. The Cool, I go back. I both are still in my fucking thing. I still play them to this day. But
you don't like Lasers?
I think Lasers is dope, but it's not a classic. I think it's dope, but it's not a Lasers. It's not a classic.
Oh,
wait, Kev, you said Lasers is fun. You actually like something?
Yeah,
it's bugged out.
I love that.
I had to see where the green was at.
anything lyrical is that's my thing.
Okay.
I think Lasers had the most.
What's his nigga? Lupe, he was dope, and then he just made that turn like Cannabis. Like he just made a turn, and it's like once you went over there, I can't fuck. Like he just got weird.
Okay, I'm just glad we got something you like. I'm just happy. I'm just happy there was something that you liked. That's all I care about.
I think Lupe is one of the few people who he can have an opinion and in the hip hop community be respected by his opinion. Like one of the things I said on the other podcast we had when we first mentioned the whole Drake, and I said the classic thing, we talked about the battle, is that people forget there's the general consensus and then there's the hip hop community, which is a different argument of who the best is of all time and who's this and who's that. Lupe is one of those people that he could talk, he could have that conversation. Even if you don't agree with him, he's qualified. Like it's fucking Lupe Fiasco. The dude, his mixtapes are fire. Like he can rap his ass off. Like it's different.
So who do y'all have if Lupe and Kendrick battled?
Lupe. Easy.
Okay.
If I would go with Kendrick, you know, the only reason why is I feel like Lupe would present like, you know, a good battle or whatever, but I feel like he would just go off on that tangent. To me, I feel like it's like if I was to make a comparison, it's like a world of actors where, like, you know, you got your dominant forces. So in rap, you got, like, you know, if I was to liken it, like a Hove, it's like a Denzel or something like that. Like, you know, you could throw him in anything. Like, that's where he's at. And then, you know, Kendrick is kind of like your upstart, like your Michael B. Jordan or something like that. Lupe to me is like kind of like Howard.
Terrence Howard over here doing mathematical equations and things.
Hey man, that's not all right.
You know, dude from what is that? The Book of Clarence, Lakeith or whatever.
Oh, Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah, like they're good. They're really good, but it's like they get too lost in their craft. Where it's like, man, I can't fuck with you.
I think that lyrically, Lupe would put up a huge attack on him. I think it would be a great, you know, I think a great diss track lyrically. But I think that in the end, Kendrick not only will hit him with lyrics, but on a crazy beat with an actual hook and flow, and it's just gonna destroy him. Like it wouldn't. I don't think it would go well for Lupe overall. But I think in a lyrical battle, people who enjoy the lyricism of it might cater towards Lupe on that battle.
I think what John is saying, what I was about to say. Basically, I feel like it depends on where the topic is going. If they're battling because they're just battling skill-wise, I don't think there's too many people skill-wise that can level up to Lupe. But if it goes to a point where now we're talking about certain things and making it personal, like John said, I think Kendrick will have him on making it more commercialized and getting the response that way. But and it's back to what L was saying about lasers, or what Kev was saying about lasers. I feel like lasers is Lupe's most relatable and most commercial work. I think he had about 2 or 3 singles off of that were real that were real good joints. And I mean I could argue lasers might be close to a classic, but I still would put just at the moment Buddha Liquor in the cool.
Okay.
The sad part is that this younger generation
up there just because of the era. That was when like backpack rap was kind of like at its peak. So
the sad part is because this younger generation. So like you know me with the fucking thing. Like you know me. I always do my homework on shit. Like I ask questions. So like some of my employees, they're 19, 20. So I asked them the thing. I was like, in your opinion, what's the greatest rap of all time? What's the greatest rappers of all time? The top 5. And I heard their opinion. Then I asked them, people they knew. They didn't even know who Lupe Fiasco was. But that's that new younger generation. They're 19, 20, 21. So that's crazy. But then again, that's the difference between that mainstream, I just listen to music that sounds good and whatever, and that's that hip-hop community. There's a difference.
And they was babies when Lupe's first 3 albums came out.
I remember hearing Kick Push 2 in Virgin Records, and I was like, I was like, what is this is fire. And I bought the album off of hearing that, because at the time the only single out was Kick Push, the first one, and it was dope, but I didn't really care that much about skateboard and shit. And I was like, yo, it's a dope song, but whatever. Then I heard Kick Push 2, the beat and the way he flowed told the story. I was like, I bought an album from Virgin Records for $18.99, and I went and copped the album. I was like, oh, this album, the Cool alone, that song alone is better than most people's entire discography.
Okay. So we talked about, Lupe and his concept album and not really having much to talk about. Another concept album from someone who really haven't had much to talk about, Eminem. He just dropped The Death of Slim Shady. It's a concept album as well. Again, like we said earlier, I've seen people online saying, oh, if you play it forward, Marshall kills Slim, but if you play it backwards, Slim kills. No, it's not that deep. It's a very simple concept. He explains it multiple times on the album. It's not that deep. I think it's a cool concept. I think it was good. Probably one of his best albums in a long time. Have you guys listened to that?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. So, L, talk to me. What's your thoughts on The Death of Slim Shady?
So for me, The Death of Slim Shady, as you mentioned, I agree with you. It has, to me, it's been probably one of his best album since God knows how long. It's been a minute. Like this album listening to was like, for me, just off of the concept, but also with the wordplay, you know, that he was using in and out of songs, the way it was like the back and forth. It was a real unique concept. It brought me back to like the old Slim Shady, and it's like, yo, this is why in the hip hop generation he's considered one of the greats, just because of the way he was able to paint the, you know, the proverbial, paint the picture for you with that. What gets lost in it, and now I'm, you know, taking other reviews and stuff like that. I've actually listened to it twice. It, you know, you get influenced kind of like the younger generation. So of course I'm looking at like the reviews that people say online, because I want to say whose reviews match mine. And it's like the critics' reviews now are saying like, oh, it's him once again beating the dead horse with Slim Shady. You know, this is something that should have been dropped years ago. You know, it's just the ever conflicted Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady. And then it was unique because we're going to talk about it later, but a Billboard review was like, he now just comes off like the old angry white man. And oh, wow. Like, I was like, this is definitely some like 20, 25-year-old kid who wrote this. Like, that to even come up with that concept is like, that's what you put in the review. And it's like, you know nothing of Slim Shady. Like, you probably just knew M off of the hype versus who he actually was, like lyrically. Like, you don't know how to break down lyrics or anything like that. So overall, to me, it was, like, I wouldn't even call it a solid effort. It was, I don't want to use the word great yet, but it was a really, really good album.
Kev, did you listen to The Death of Slim Shady?
Yeah, I thought it was incredible.
What?
That's two in a row.
That's two.
What?
Oh, lyrically, man, Eminem, he was doing that guidance counselor music for the longest since recovery, and I can't get into that. He was still rapping, but the topics were stupid. Remember that with Beyonce? Like, how you mess up a song with Beyonce?
I think that song was too dramatic. Like, it was just like, yeah, this is, what are we doing here?
Niggas like Eminem, but niggas like Slim Shady too. So by trying to like change that Slim Shady shit, it's like Bow Wow when he started cursing.
Yeah.
Cool, we see you, but he like to hold you a little better.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he knew what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was the death, the guilty conscience part 2 was fire. It was like brilliant shit. Every song, not every song, but yeah, every song was cool. It was cool.
I'm surprised. I'm just happy you like some stuff. All right. So Lupe and Eminem.
Yo, I got, man, my playlist is crazy.
Okay.
I can school you to some shit.
We might have to come back to that. You're going to come back to what's on Kev's playlist. That might be a separate segment.
That needs its own episode.
Right, that's a whole, what is Kev listening
that
to?
Kev likes, yeah.
You don't want to hear Shaq's first album. You don't
well, he just re-released it, so, you know.
You don't want to hear Capadonna's greatest hits.
Well, we'll come back to that, but Greg, talk to me. What was your thoughts on The Death of Slim Shady?
I ain't listened to it.
Oh, okay.
I told you, I was stuck on the comment.
Oh, okay, got you. Now, is not on your radar, you don't care to, or?
Oh, no, I listen to it, but you know, sometimes when you just, I will just grab you, and you just been flown with that, it put me in a mood all weekend, and I just been...
Got you. I listened to the Common joint once. I gotta go back to it. Love Pete Rock production. Common, he's poetic. It's like he it's like he doesn't rap. It always feels like spoken word. You know
But
what I'm saying? And that's not a
let me
bad
tell
thing.
you,
I'm not even trying to like. It's just refreshing. Like you know what I'm saying. So I gotta go back to the album though. But
and
we don't
it's
probably.
Like a
it's
lot
funny.
to this.
It's funny with me because I honestly am not a huge Common fan,
Right.
but because of the Pete Rock production, I said I'm gonna give it a listen.
Right.
And man, first of all, it's not a single curse on the album.
Okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
The features, the production. I just feel I don't want to make it. I feel like it's a classic to me.
Okay.
I have played just so much replay value on the album, and in single songs. There's been times where, for instance, I went to the gym. I spent an hour and a half in the gym. One song was on repeat the whole fucking time.
What song was that?
I want to say, I don't know off the top of the name off the top. Something with Sunshine.
Okay, I think I know what song it is. Okay. Hold on, let me see. It was
When the Sun Shines Again.
Okay.
That one song, repeat for the whole entire album.
So everybody can check that and see if Greg is bugging. He used to play that one song over and over and over again. I think I remember. So, like I said, I played it only like once. It's been a strenuous weekend working wise. I had to put some hyper music on just to get me through the weekend. But we'll come back to that. We're gonna revisit that Pete Rock and Common album. But Big John, talk to me. The Death of Slim Shady. What's your thoughts on that?
All right. So if I'm being honest, I'm about 6 playthroughs of the album, full playthrough, start to finish, to really give it a chance. My first playthrough, I got maybe 4 or 5 songs in, and I was like, he's doing the same bullshit, attention, shock rap. Like I'm not feeling this. I turned it off. Like I just wasn't feeling it, and I was like, you know what? Let me give it another chance. I heard my nephew hit me, or my younger nephew, who's a big JID fan, and he's like, Uncle, who you think took it on the JID song? I didn't get that far because I cut it off the first time. So I was like, you know what? Let me get the album another chance. I listened to it, and as I listened to it more, I enjoyed it more, and I got into it, and got to the point where I only have 2 skips out of the whole thing. One of those skips is Brand New Dance, but understanding why that song, but understanding why that song is there, and hearing him say like, oh, this is old. I'm just understanding why that song is there. I get it's placed in the thing, and I'm a sucker for concept albums, so that gave it more credit. And then I can't even remember the name of the other song I skipped, but it was another one that's like, all right. When I first heard Houdini, I was like, oh, this is terrible. But he always puts out that one song, whatever. But the more and more I hear the lyrics, to me, Houdini is one of the better of all those stupid songs he makes. When he does the stupid the hit for the album. So the more I listened to it, the more I loved it. And then obviously you got Toby, you got JID. I'm not gonna front. I dropped the Thug tier for Save Me. Being a parent and having my own things, thinking about like, do I deserve to be called a father and earn that title? Like that song had me, so I dropped a little Thug tier for that. But hearing the whole album, I do love the album. I do think it's one of his best works in a very long time. You know that I've been hypercritical on him. I had my own little episode on Popular that I don't even think he's a top 5 MC. Not rapper, not lyricist, MC. And this is one of those albums that help his catalog, in my opinion. And then in that debate, I do feel like, even with the JID, like when I first heard it, I was like, yo, JID might have took Eminem on this. Then I heard Eminem's first verse at the beginning of it. I'm like, JID definitely took Eminem on this. And then after he says Alphabet Soup and then goes in, I was like, I don't know who got that one. That's a hard one. But either way, it's still fire. Like the album's dope. Toby is dope. They all did their thing. I don't know who has the best verse on Toby. Like I like what Eminem was saying, but it's definitely between Baby Tron and Big Sean. I'm going with Big Sean. Yeah, I'm going with Big Sean on that one. And that's the second time Big Sean has gotten Eminem on a verse. In my opinion, personally, I don't think there's many rappers who get Eminem on a verse when he raps with them, but I definitely think Big Sean's one of them. So I'm with that. JID almost had it until he did that constant, like I was like, oh shit, M spitting. But to me, M lyrically is not a question. Even in my opinion, albums like Relapse or like, when he was high as shit and fucked up on drugs, lyrically he was still rapping better than half of these rappers out here nowadays. So he's still lyrically, he just wasn't saying shit about anything with any content. But lyrically putting his rhyme scheme, his words together, his double time rhymes, like they're not many people fuck with his rhyme play and his rhyme skill in the first place. But I enjoyed the album. I think the album was really good. One of his best in a very long time. I speaking to what we currently spoke to, like when it comes to classic albums, I don't think this will be a classic album, or one of his classic albums. I think out of all his discography, I don't think he has many classic albums in general, but I think this is definitely one of his better albums.
I think what saved it is those two songs for like his daughters, like the ones you said, and the one where he was like, to play this after I'm dead, and like that came from out of nowhere. Like I didn't expect that, especially from the concept that was going on, and him battling his alter ego, and then it was like he got real deep and personal there, and I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. And I think
that's what I like.
That made the battle with himself really come to, like, it was like, damn, he's really, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I did this for y'all, but was I a good parent? And like, it was behind the scene, it was more personal. The Slim Shady character was more of the character to make the money, to be fair, but that was like a real, and I think that's what he's been missing. We know about Royce in the Book of Ryan, or like Jay in the 444, like those personal albums and stuff. And I think M hasn't had a personal moment in a long time, since like Cleaning Out My Closet, Toy Soldiers, and those songs back then. So those songs on the album really raised it up for me, because if it wasn't for those, I would have been like, it was just an excuse for him to say wild, shocking things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I loved. Like, I love the way he did it, because it was the beginning of the album was he's Slim Shady.
Yeah, but to me,
and then obviously Guilty Conscience, he becomes Marshall.
If we're going off the concept of battling himself, I think T.I. versus T.I.P. was better. And I don't know if everybody remember that album, but to me, I think that was the concept was done better.
I agree. I think the lyrical content, obviously, with Eminem is better, but I think as a concept album, I agree with you. T.I. versus T.I.P.
I think the concept was done better. Lyrically, M by far, but I think the concept of battling, me versus myself, because this is
who
the
else
character.
Had that? Didn't King Crit, I think, have like a me like a good to evil, like a. I could have sworn King Crit had
I don't remember. I mean, I know Cassidy had the Problem versus the Hustler. Now that was dope, because he was battling himself. It was like the battle. That intro was the rest of the album wasn't that great, but the intro with him in a battle with himself, that was a dope concept. That I thought that was cool. But
it does sound like overall, even from Big Kev, who doesn't like anything, it seems like his album got pretty good overall look. Yeah, I do agree. A lot of youngins gave it a bad review, and I do like the fact that the shock value did still work. I do like that, because people are very sensitive, but I did like the way the way he did it overall.
Yeah. Like I said, if it wasn't for those last couple songs at the end, I think it would have just been like, he just did it just to say some wild stuff. Like, I think that saved it and made it more personal. That those songs at the end kind of tied it up. I think that even like the Toby, and it was more a moment to reflect. Let me step away from the concept for a minute and tell you how I really feel. You know what I'm saying? That's what kind of brought it all together.
I think my favorite thing though is that on top of that, like again, him doing the Slim Shady versus Marshall Mathers, songs like Toby or songs like Toby and songs like Fuel, he's Marshall Mathers in that part. Right. And he's showing you that lyrically he could still spit, but he doesn't have to say shock shit. He could just rap his ass off.
And that's why I say the concept kind of didn't work as best as it could have, because he still was his best on the album when he was Marshall. The Marshall moments were still the highlight of the album. The Slim Shady moments were still, I'm gonna say some wild stuff just because you know what I'm saying, like, and I think the Marshall moments is, like I said, the back half of the album is what saved the album to me. I
feel you, but some of the wild shit he said needs to be said though. This sense of generation is crazy.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting to that the Christopher Reeve song, which he made 20 years ago, fit right in there in the concept of it, because I didn't know it was a 20-year-old song until he said it on Guilty Conscience 2 or whatever. So I was like, oh snap! Like, and when I went back, I was like, yeah, that song sounded like it fit right in with the rest of the album. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting to see, like something he made 20 years ago. How it fit it, but again, it only works with the concept of him being Slim again, because today, if he'd have did that, it'd have made no sense. Like, why are you still talking about Christopher Reeve? He died 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it fit within the concept. But like I said, to me, I think if it wasn't for the Marshall Mathers, wrapping up the album, it would have been because I've never been a fan of the "Hi, My Name Is," the Batman. What was the Batman joint? Like all the singles that he did in those first couple
it was
albums.
fire. That Slim Shady
I never
song?
was a fan of that. Never was a fan of those
Without
singles.
Me, the real Slim Shady.
Yeah, never was a never was
You
a
like
fan
How
of.
My Name Is?
No,
I like How My Name Is. I don't like the rest of
Hated
them,
it.
but I like How My Name Is.
It's annoying. The beat is annoying. The chorus is annoying. I was not a fan of
But the lyrics,
him.
man, the lyrics
That
is
didn't,
what
like I said, I didn't
grabbed
become a fan until he was high at the time. But until he started to do like the, you know what I'm saying, Toy Soldiers, cleaning out my closet. When he had something to talk about, that's
You
when I want to
skipped over
listen.
the
Because to
second
me,
album?
the context
All that.
is very important. What are you rapping about?
What
He's
about-
very technical and nice with his words, but just rhyming, certain words together just because.
What about The Way I Am?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Love that. That's one of the songs that I wish he had more of. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the Slim Shady LP and I don't want to go into a whole Eminem thing, but his first 3 albums had content, but the singles were all dumbass fucking songs.
Yeah, and that's why I was turned off by his singles. I was always turned off by his singles. You know what I'm saying? And then the album came out. You had to kind of find the good music. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, there was a point where I think it was the Slim Shady show or one of the ones where it was like, like I said, Toy Soldiers. That song was hard to me. The one where what was the joint where Kim was kissing the bodyguard or whatever? He had to fight dude, and he was like, "I'm a soldier."
Oh,
that album.
Eminem show.
The Eminem show.
Yeah, Eminem show.
That album.
That's his best album.
Eminem show is definitely one of his best albums.
Yeah, that album was hard.
And the Marshall Mathers LP.
That was his run. That's when I was like, okay.
It's a subject for another time, but I got M at 2, maybe 3 classics, actually, personally.
2, maybe 3 classics?
Yeah. Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem Show, and I argue Slim Shady LP because except for the 2 dumb songs, shit like Rock Bottom, like anyone who's ever been broke as fuck, it doesn't matter if you're from the hood or from the trailer park, you gotta understand Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom,
That's the first album.
And that was probably the best song I liked from his first album.
Yeah.
Was Rock Bottom.
Yeah.
But we always forget his first album was Infinite.
I thought the Bonnie and Clyde was an interesting song back then too.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the first album, there was a few that I liked. I liked Guilty Conscience, Brain Damage, Bonnie and Clyde.
Say the whole thing, bro, because Slim Shady LP was a classic.
That's what I'm saying. I think he arguably has 3 classics, but then he went downhill from there and had a classic since.
I think Recovery is close though.
Recovery. I would agree. Recovery is close.
Relapse was like, what the hell is he talking about? But then Recovery came back and it was like, okay, we got him back.
Right.
Is it a classic? I'm not sure, but it's definitely close.
We've been talking about, classic albums and stuff all night. Billboard put together a list of what they feel was the top 100 classic albums from hip hop. Like I said, last year, hip hop celebrated its 50th birthday. Eminem is like 50, 51. Nas just turned 50. LL is 52. He about to drop an album. So finally, we got
LL was 56.
56? Oh, see, so I think it was like, okay, see, so
I was like, there's no way LL 52.
Well, remember, he started young, so I figured, but yeah, 56, okay, we'll go with that. But hip-hop, I'm glad the OGs aren't just, living by that young man's game thing, because, I still want to hear what, what the older guys got to say. And I think most rappers...
album?
It come out, what, September?
Yeah, you want to hear it? Like, you looking forward to it?
I mean, from the single that dropped, I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at it.
You looking forward to it? Pre-ordering?
Yeah, I'm gonna check for it when it drop.
All right.
I'm gonna check for it. I'm gonna see what he got to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's gonna be, it might be trash. I don't know, but From like I said, the Passion single, I like that Passion single. I don't really like the song with Rick Ross and Fat Joe. I don't know, something about it just.
That shit
Did you hear the
horrible,
song that
man.
he had? Did you hear the song he had with M?
I heard, but I don't know. I didn't know how true that is. Is it going to be on his album?
I think it's on Ella's because it's not on M's album.
It's not on M's. Yes, I heard.
Yeah,
I didn't know if it was
gonna
really.
be on.
And that's the
He
thing
killed
nowadays with AI, you don't know what's real and what's not. So, but I know M. He always praises LL. He always talk about like that's the reason he got into rap. Like he's big LL fan. So so like I said, I'm looking forward to
by
that.
Q-Tip, so that's a good sign too.
Right. So I'm looking forward to. Like I said, I'm looking to see what he has to say at this point. You know, he hadn't put out an album in a minute. He's been rapping since he was like 15, 16.
With no classics though. Oh, I said it.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that.
I think
the only one, in my opinion, the only one you really argue is Walking with a Panther or Mr. Smith or Ty Smith or whatever it's called. Those are like the
14 shots to the dome, bro.
I gotta go back to.
I'll go back to this, but when I remember with LL, I ain't really see where he was like, because he was for a while he was talking that GOAT status, and I was like, yo, maybe I'm missing something. Let me go back, and I went back, and like I don't remember, but I'll give it another chance.
Yeah,
14 shots to the dome. Try that. Listen to that one first.
I always remember like my big cousin. When I seen him rap the whole "I'm Bad," that's what made me like one of the things that made me fall in love with rap music in general. Like my cousin would do and when he did "My hat is like a shark's fin," I was like, oh, that's a metaphor. I was like, that's a metaphor. Oh, that's interesting. Like I see what you mean with that. Like you know what I'm saying. So that made me like rap music and stuff. But like I said, Billboard put out this list, the top 100. Hip hop albums of all time, and usually I don't pay these lists no mind. My boy Manny, shout out to Manny, hit me up one day, and he's like, "Look who's number one."
Yeah, biased.
Manny's one of the biggest Nas fans that I know, so of course he was hyped to see that. And again, I was like, "All right, whatever, it's Billboard." But then John hit me up, and he wanted to talk about it. So here we are right now. We're about to talk about it. And in the preliminaries leading up to this, there's been like one thing that kind of stood out to all of you guys. So we can go right to that. Kev, did you look at the list?
Hell no.
All right. So we gonna get your takes on it. But the one thing that kind of stood out to, John, L, and Greg right off the rip was Cardi B at number 29.
She's on the list?
She's on the list.
Exactly.
Invasion of Privacy, her first and only album, is number 29 on the list of top 100 of all time.
What's this based on? Styles?
Top 100 of all time.
Yeah, some young dude's opinion that gets paid a lot for doing nothing.
That's crazy.
Like, yo, like the problem is that that's 29. And then you have Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP. You have Reasonable Doubt. God. You have albums that are like, are you fucking kidding? All right. Anyway, I'll let you start. Go ahead, Mom.
Yeah. So no, Reasonable Doubt is number 32 on the list.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And they have Drake Take Care at 31. So they're saying Take Care is better than Reasonable Doubt.
That's crazy.
They got Marshall Mathers LP is better than Reasonable Doubt. They got Cardi B is better than all of those.
I mean, there's a few. There's a few from 1 through 28. There's a few that are ridiculous, but none are more ridiculous than Cardi B's. And this is me going back to, you remember when the album dropped? I gave it a good score. I thought it was a good album for her. For her sophomore album, it wasn't bad, but it's not fucking 29. It's not even in the top 100. I can name you 100 rap albums off my head that are better than Cardi B's album. That's crazy.
Got it.
It's not even the best female album of all time. Like fucking Hardcore is a better album. Anything Missy Elliott put out was a better album. Like,
Hardcore wasn't even on there.
Damn.
It's fucking crazy. But how you want to start this, Paul?
So, is there any?
I know I brought it up, but
are there any? Yeah, I mean that's like I said, that stood out to you guys. Is there anything else that stood out to you on that list before we go to the top 10?
What stood out to me was not on there.
So
Yeah.
so what did you feel was missing, Greg?
I feel like Pete Rock and CL Smooth, the main ingredient.
Okay.
Hell on Earth. There's a Dark Side. Me Against the World. And that's just to name a few. I don't feel like none of those albums on there, and I could tell you 10 of them that you can take off, but I'm not gonna go there.
So
Then I mean,
Damn.
where I don't remember seeing it when I went through the list. I'll do it again. But where's Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood?
It
Oh, that
wasn't
was-
on there.
No, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood was.
I know it's Dark and Hell is Hot is on there.
Yeah.
The
I
first
didn't
one
see
Yeah,
is
Dark
Flesh
and
of
Hell is
My
Hot is on
Flesh.
there, but it's not where it belongs. But it's on there. But
Yeah, it's not on there.
Flesh of My Flesh, like, but Invasion of Privacy's on there.
Bro. Could I just name
man.
the albums that Invasion of Privacy and Cardi B, We Love Is the Personality, Boogie Down Bronx, Borica, Trini Girl, all that good stuff. Some of the albums that she's above. 42, Jay-Z the Black Album.
Craziness.
43, Ghostface Killer, Supreme Clientele. Like, bro, she's
Nasty
above.
work.
Big,
But not.
we were talking about it earlier. Good Kid, Mad City. They have that at 41. Bro, I mean, Gangsta.
Was the list made by one person?
I don't even know if they put the name of who. It
Bro.
says okay, so it says the 100 greatest rap albums of all time staff list. So our full list of picks for the best length album project made out now is Damian Scott, Gaul Mitchell, Angel Diaz, Carl Lamar, Michael Saponara, Herman Mamo, and Kyle Dennis, all I guess Billboard staff members.
Bro, they
Muddy
got it
Waters
above,
is 73.
they got it above Young Jeezy at 36. Thug Motivation for 1. Like, can we
Here's
just
my other problem though. Here's my other problem with the contradictiveness. I hate the fucking contradictiveness. Like their top 10 rap album, but if you look at their list for top 5 rappers of all time, some of those rappers didn't even make their top 10 or top 20. So how the fuck are they their top of all time? Like that makes no sense. Like for instance, Eminem is number 5.
I didn't even see that list. Like
First
I said,
album is it? Yeah. Like
I
it
ignore
doesn't
these
make no
lists
sense.
most of the time, so I don't even know who they had in the top 10 for the rappers.
Oh man.
Like
So
shouldn't your top 5 rappers of all time be in there?
Let's go to the top 10 albums right now. So at number 10, they got Slick Rick, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick.
Great storytelling, not a top 10 album.
At number 9, they got Jay-Z, The Blueprint.
It's not even Hope's best album, but
At number 8, Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. At number 7, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style.
That should be higher.
At number 6, Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Higher like lower or higher like higher
Closer
numbers?
to 1.
Should be
Closer
lower.
to 1.
Yeah, closer to 1.
Yeah.
Doggy
Style was classic.
So
It is
6,
a classic
Tupac, All
album.
Eyes on Me. Number 5, Biggie, Life After Death.
I think that should be higher personally.
Number 4, Outkast, Aquemini.
Lower.
Lower.
Number 3, and this one caused a little controversy I seen online, Lauryn Hill, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
The singing album. It's the R&B shit.
Number 2, Dr. Dre, The Chronic.
First one?
And number 1, Nas Illmatic. So first off, do y'all consider the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill a hip-hop album?
No.
Because that's
Yes.
the argument I've
Yes.
been seeing online.
It's not a rap album, but it is a hip hop album, and there's a difference. But it is
That's-
hip hop.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a hip hop album. It's not a rap album. I
Okay,
agree
so
with
this is the
that.
greatest rap album. So you don't think it's rap album?
It shouldn't
yeah,
be. No.
No,
it
it's
shouldn't
not
be
a
on
rap
there.
album.
Got it.
And nothing Drake should be on there because that's not a rap album either.
Is
You
Drake-
singing half the album.
I saw some Drake on here somewhere.
His,
Yeah,
not
but
Drake's
take
on there,
care.
but I'm saying, but he's singing half his album. That's not a rap album. But anyway, that's just me hating at the moment. But here's my problem.
So we
and
don't consider
I want
Lauryn Hill
Mr.
shouldn't be there. Lauryn Hill should not be on
not
the list
for
at
a rap
all.
album.
Right.
Not for rap album. For hip hop,
No.
yes, I would put him. In my opinion, she's in one of the arguments for best album ever from any genre of all time. And for
Yeah.
that album is phenomenal. That album is phenomenal. Forget like she might have different views than me, but that album is phenomenal. But my argument, and I would like to hear Mr. Farrak's opinion on this, being from Queens. My argument is that, in my opinion, Illmatic's not even Nas's best album.
It's not.
I think It Was Written is his best album.
It Was Written is his best album, but the thing that I could applaud them on is the fact that Illmatic changed the scope of how albums were made, how lyrics were received. He changed how Jay-Z rapped. If you remember how Jay-Z used to rap before, he was rapping like the Fushnikins. Heard that and switched his whole style up. So if you want to look at it as in the impact stance, I would say, okay, we could rock with that. But as far as his lyrics, his marketability, and what he was saying, It Was Written was miles ahead of Illmatic.
So we're giving
that was my
for
problem.
the impact? You think they're looking at it as far as impact? That
Nah. They can't be doing impact because they got Cardi B at 29. It can't be impact.
Exactly. So I don't think they looked at it like that. But for me, I could be okay with Illmatic being number one just because of the impact it had.
Mm-hmm.
But It Was Written was definitely a better album.
That's been my argument forever. Because whenever someone puts Illmatic up there with the top 5 albums of all time, my argument has always been it's not even his best album. Like It Was, and like I said, It Was Written. It Was Written is what, 14, 15 tracks? In my opinion, no skips, and that without a doubt is a classic. 0 skips on that. And that, in my opinion, that top 5 rap albums of all time should be heavily dominated by 90s rap in general. Like, listen, I respect the legends, but nobody in the 70s, 80s did anything close to what the 90s genre did. And then in 2000s or later, maybe Eminem, Marshall's LP, and maybe Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City in the top 10, top 15. But it should be predominantly 90s rap, in my personal opinion. When it comes to rap albums of all time, like, you should not fuck with that.
Paid in Full being at number 8.
Nope.
Yeah, I was gonna say Eric B and Rakim really changed. Just for everything that you say about changing rap, Eric B and Rakim, they did that. Cause remember, we was on that hip hop, and then it was the crossover appeal, and it was like that great album right before shit like pivoted over to West Coast with gangster rap. Like,
I agree. I give them their flowers, but to take out 7 other albums, like, and be like, nah, this is definitely number 8. I don't think, in my opinion, anyone in there. This is me, and in my only beef with Life After Death, where it's put at, in my opinion, I had my little podcast, side thing about Biggie and my personal feelings. Being a dude born and raised in Brooklyn, like, I have my own feelings about Biggie, but Life After Death, in my opinion, back when, if you remember the disc, it was, obviously 2 discs. The second disc was mainly filler, and like you could chop it and make it 1 album. It didn't need to be 2 albums. Diddy was just trying to get his money at that motherfucker. You didn't need 2 albums. You could chop mad songs off that shit and make it. So that's where my beef is with Life After Death, because there is mad skips on that second disc. To me, it puts it like the only real keep on the second disc is what, Sky's the Limit. Maybe I might be misquoting 1 or 2, but there's like 13 tracks on the second disc, and half of them could go, more than half could go. I think it was
Notorious Thugs is on that second disc too.
Yeah. So those are the 2 songs, Notorious Thugs, and then I like, because I can Play a Hater, I can get rid of. Like there's quite a few on there I could get rid of, and make it just one ass fucking album.
John, you'll be hype. Missy Super Duper Fly is 20.
No. I love, me, I love Missy. I want to put it up there because I can name 20 better rap albums than her.
And DMX is Dark and Hell is Hot is at 21.
Yeah, which is absurd to me. To me, that's a top 10 album. To me personally, that's a top 10 album.
Yeah, fine.
Like, just if you on impact, let alone what he was doing when DMX dropped. Like, I'm not even gonna get into it, but I disagree with that overall. That list is bananas, but to me, like I said, with the Illmatic thing, my whole beef in the first part was that it's not even his best album. So like, how could it be the best of all time? And the list is just crazy. And I think part of the list, when you're reading it, it has to do with inclusion, because there's a lot of artists on there. Like, for instance, I fuck with a lot of artists, but like, they don't belong in that. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac, they're taking up a good chunk of that top 30. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Like, it's like they have more classic albums that belong in that spot, in my opinion. Like it makes more sense. There's nothing wrong with having 2 peats and 3 peats to certain artists, like Jay-Z, like Nas, like DMX, like Kendrick Lamar. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And Mobb Deep's Hell on Earth is not even on this list, and that was their best album to me.
Yeah, it's
Did they have is Big Pun
Capital
I
Punishment
just
is on there.
saw Capital Punishment is on there, 48.
Yeah, Baby not up there?
I didn't see it.
Nah, Yeah Baby not on there. I didn't see Yeah Baby on there.
Yeah,
but Capital Punishment is another one. Capital Punishment, off the top of my head, at least a top 25 album, minimum, like of all time, like that. And then you talk about Impact again, what that did for Spanish culture, or first Latin going platinum, like Impact overall was there, and that song was fire. Not to mention that it's another album, like a lot of those albums that I think are top don't have that many features on it, unless they, like, to me, if they're part of your team, like for instance Nas, it was written, you had AZ, you had Fox, that's part of his team. It doesn't really count as a feature in my opinion.
It was written as at 57.
Yeah.
Nuts.
It's bananas. It's bananas. Like, yo,
Nipsey
that album,
Hussle,
like,
Victory Lap is at 58.
Bro, I'm not trying to ride It Was Written All Day, but I Gave You Power, that song alone, that the skill and technique behind that song, who could do shit? Like, not many could do shit like that.
That's one of my classics too.
They got Cameron Come Home With Me at 66.
Ooh.
Damn.
Now, I ain't mad. Harlem Representative is on the list. You know, we got Eric B. Rakim and all, but I don't know if Come Home With Me is 66.
SBE.
The Mace Harlem World album.
I don't even see that.
That was one of my favorites.
I don't think that's on there. I don't think that's on there.
And no Lupe album is on there either.
Oh, man.
So Kev, don't be hype. Kev, Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday is 69 on the list.
Freaky ass nigga.
69 guys?
They gave her 69. So I don't know if y'all are aware, but Kev says Nicki Minaj is the greatest female rapper of all time.
Of all time, by far.
I don't know if all time, but
I respect his opinion, but it's definitely Missy Elliott.
Missy Elliott?
It's definitely Missy Elliott.
Best female rapper?
Nicki Minaj had the longest as top female MC. I don't know if I could put her in GOAT status, but
I'm going Lauryn Hill, man.
I can't. Is the one album and the Fuji you have. I can't with Lauryn Hill for best of all time because she's the one album for herself. No. It's the one. I mean, it's one of the greatest works of history, but it's that one album. But my beef with,
but you got my Fuji credits too.
But that's a whole team. That's like I don't count The Firm as Nas' album. That's a whole team. But when it comes to the female rap thing, not to change the whole conversation real quick, but in my opinion, obviously you know how I feel about Missy being the greatest of all time. But there's also no argument. Like Missy did her thing. Like there's tons of proof in writing credits that Nicki doesn't write her own shit. So how can you be the top rapper if you don't write your own shit?
I don't know. But
I mean, starships are meant to fly, but that's not rap.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about like wordplay. Because you know when you sample somebody's record and you got to pay them, they make you put their names in the credits. So I thought it was maybe something like that. Like I don't know who writes what, but it ain't hard to write he how shit. Like
that's not all she said. That's not all she said.
Missy never said.
And not to mention,
rewinded.
Wait, hold on. I can't hear you. What you said?
No, I was saying like I don't know where I went out on mute or whatever, where I was inaudible, but I said the thing about Nicki is that she just had that longest range of being unrivaled, like top female. That's what really puts her in the game, because when you look at it, unfortunately, we don't know if it's the powers that be or what, but like they've always just let one female rock at one time. You know, it was like the MC Light. Then Queen Latifah had her thing. Then it was like Lil' Kim, but Foxy Brown, but really more so Lil' Kim. And then, you know, from there, like Lil' Kim had it, then it started to be Remy Ma. And then you know, you had a few upstarts, the Jackie O's, the Kias, you know, all that stuff. Like that was when it was becoming a wash. But then, you know, you had that era of Nicki Minaj from like 2010 or maybe even before that, 2009 till Cardi B in 2016. Like she just had a reign that was longer than any other female rapper, MC, whatever, that like she was the go-to. Like you're gonna put, you know, all your top rappers, Drake's, Wayne, we get it, Ross, all these people on the track, and it's just one female MC on there, which is Nicki. And I was like, I gotta give her flowers for that. Whether she's, you know, the writer, she's had a ghostwriter or whatever, she just had a reign that no other female rapper could talk about.
I respect it, but I will say that in my opinion, Missy did 12 years of bangers, more platinum albums overall, back when sales mattered, not back when it was streaming that counts for yourself, without the status of someone like a Drake or someone like a Lil Wayne on her album. And Missy did it for 12 years straight, representing females. When there was competition, you had Lil' Kim, you had Queen Pen, you had rappers. Missy still did her thing, transcended, and she was doing her thing with the genres. With Nicki, I feel like, you know, and for me personally, like, as much as I don't want to agree with Billboard, even they as a female have her on a higher list than Nicki. Like when we look at the album content, I go back to Missy albums. I still have, you know, E So Addictive. I have Superfly on my album. Like I never once had one Nicki Minaj album on my fucking thing ever. And I've tried to listen to her albums from start to finish, and I just can't do it. Like they're not there for me, at least for me.
Well, with
So
Nicki,
you like
with
Missy's
Nicki, it's
song,
the same thing
or
with Drake though.
you
She
have a Missy verse
found
that
where the
you
money
like?
is at, and that's where she went. So her rap started becoming more poppy, you know, because she appeals to who was bringing that bread. So, you know, it went from being Nicki Minaj the rapper to Nicki Minaj the singer, and she started sounding a little bit more popish than hip hopish.
Yeah, what you
That's
saying,
when the
Kev?
cocaine came. No, I was saying you got a Missy verse that's fire, like oh, Missy killed this shit.
Yeah, all of my grill, Hot Boys, like the shit she was rapping about. Because you understand also,
Hot Boys jump with her
sex
and
sells.
Nas.
Missy wasn't an attractive female. Sex sells. She was just spit like rapping. She didn't have her body and everything else moving for making sexual music for that. She was like, yo, I'm still sexual even though I'm a big girl who's not as attractive with a pretty face. Like, I'm still doing my thing. But yeah, all in my grill, Hot Boys, where she rapped with Nas on par, like doing her thing. Like she still held her ground. She's done songs with Eminem and Busta, still held her ground. Songs with Jay-Z, like, and still held her ground. Except for Monster, a lot of times Nicki gets left.
Yeah,
and Monster's one of the ones that I argue because of the way her style changed on it. That I'm like, I think that was written for, because her whole entire the subject matter and style changed on that song versus the rest. Plus, if you listen to Nicki's mixtapes like before, and then like you could just there's certain artists like a Lil Wayne that you could just tell like, nah, you're not the same. That pen is different.
Speaking of Lil Wayne, Carter 2 should be higher too.
What number was it? I saw it on the list. Where was it at?
Too high. I don't remember the list number.
Now, wasn't Carter 2 the one that Gilly wrote?
No,
yes, that's his best album. Nah, Gilly wrote Carter 2, his best album.
Yeah, Gilly wrote Carter 2.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that's his best album, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's his best album, and that's the proof. To me, back when we had the warehouse arguments, back in the Best Buy days, that was how he always shut him down. Like, yo, your man's best album was written by another artist. Like, come on. That's his best. In my opinion, that's Lil Wayne's best album. I do like Carter 4, or Carter 5, I think it is. But it's his best album. So I'm like, yo, like, you know, if best album's written by somebody else, how could it be, you know, that's how I look at it. I fuck with Wayne on certain verses, but, you know.
So let's get back to the list. How do we feel about Illmatic being number one? Are we fine with it? I know we don't agree because, like you guys said, it's not even his best album. But are we fine with it being at number one?
I'm fine with it.
I know people like it. The album just wasn't for me. Like it seemed like it was a little before my time. Even though when it came out, I was about 13, but I didn't really get to Nas to that second album, and then the third one, the I Am album. I love that, but
That's not
Illmatic,
even on the list. That should be there too.
Illmatic, I never really grasped it.
Right.
Yeah, I get down with Illmatic, but similar to Jay, like to me, the album that resonates with me more out of Nas' catalog, to me, that I put up there at the top is It Was Written over Illmatic.
So
But I Illmatic being, number one on their list.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not super mad at it. Like, I'm not super mad at it because it's still a New York rapper taking that throne, and so I'm not super mad at it. But nah, I still feel if you base it off like it's not his best album, therefore it can't be the best of all time. It's not even his own best work. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And what about The Chronic at number 2?
I don't get that one personally.
You put Doggy Style there.
You could, to me, I think you could put either one of those because those are pivotal rap albums. Like from the West, all the albums that have been put out there, like that's a 1-2 punch because they came out, either one right before the other. However, like
me personally, I gotta go back and
to me, fuck it. And no, I was just saying, like, I get NWA, all that other stuff, and it was more so like shock value, like, fuck the police and the content and all of that. But like both of those albums, The Chronic was like that same type of visual artistry. Like it puts you in the mindset, like, hey, this is what the West Coast in the 90s was, the era, all of that. So like it really set the tone. I think you could, I'm not mad. Like, he said Doggy Style could be higher, The Chronic could be lower, like either or. Like the West Coast, I think they cemented that with those two albums. So I have no problem with either one of those being up there.
I definitely think The Chronic should go higher, up, towards numbers. I gotta go back personally and listen to Doggy Style, give it another chance. I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but in my opinion, Snoop Dogg, for me, has always been an artist that, like, he raps like a 70s, 80s rapper. He just has a 90s flow with his own little pimp style to it, but he still raps with the cat, hat, dog, hog, fog. Like, he's not lyrical at all. He's just smooth with his shit. Like, he's just smooth with his shit. So for me, I've never had an album of Snoop Dogg ever that I listen to. I'm like, yo, this album right here, no skips. I'm like, so I'll try. I'm gonna go back, give Doggy Style another chance. I do think personally, in my own opinion, Me Against the World belongs a lot lower. At least top 3. Me Against the World, a double album of nothing but fucking no skips of him spitting just poetry and having hits on it. Me Against the World belongs a lot lower personally. And if you need to pick one album,
on me.
I mean, All Eyes on Me. Whoa, oh yeah, All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me. Yeah. Thank you, Paul Rock. All Eyes on Me. Like Me Against the World is still fire. Don't get me wrong. But no, All Eyes on Me is no skip.
I like that one better, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if I ever represent one of my albums for West Coast, it'd be All Eyes on Me.
Because I always felt like The Chronic and even Doggy Style was like compilation albums. Like, the Dog Pound is on them heavy. On Doggy Style, he got Rage on there. Daz, Corrupt, DOC, RBX. Like, it's a lot of features. And The Chronic, obviously, Dre was never a rapper. He's a producer. So it was, but I always felt like those were compilation albums. So it's kind of a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like Captain America. What was the Captain America Civil War? You got all the characters in there. It's a Captain America movie, but Iron Man's in it. Black Widow's in it. Like, everybody's in it. You know what I'm saying? But it's the best Captain America movie. Well, it's another Avengers movie.
They started that whole family, like the Heenan family in wrestling. They started that whole shit back in the day. They all came from there. Like the Bad Boy family, all that shit started from Death Row, from Dr. Dre and them.
I guess, yeah. And that's what I said. To me, like, that's why I never held those as like Snoop's album or Dre's, because it was like everybody's on it. So that's Rock La Familia. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it a J album or is it just a Rockefeller album? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but like I said,
Amel is not on the list.
No, Emil is not on the list. No.
Emil is better than
And neither
me.
is who was the singer they had? Oh man, what was the singer dude they had on there?
Christian.
Christian. Yeah, nah, didn't make the list either. But
Nah,
man.
thank
I
you,
agree with Joe.
fellas. Like I said, we're gonna wrap that up there because we could talk about this forever, ever. If you
I
guys,
think Missy Elliott would body Miss Mel would body Missy Elliott.
That's just nonsense right there.
listen. Let me wrap this up. All right. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. Thank you, fellas, for doing this. Anybody that want to give their top 10, you can comment that below. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to give y'all top 10, y'all can put that in the comments and stuff as well. Because I definitely feel this conversation will continue and go on forever and ever and ever.
But 10 is a lot though. Five is Dylon, and Dylon.
Oh, so you get your list away then. See, there you go.
Shaq.
Conversation over. He not even on the list. How they not put Dylon on the list? Like, come on.
Because he spits hot fire.
All day.
Before we close out,
What's up?
I'm scrolling through it. Did the poet make it on here? Common?
Yeah, B is on there.
B is on there, yeah. I saw B. One of the greatest intros of an album of all time, for sure.
Is Yellow Wolf on there?
No, Yellow Wolf is not on there.
It's crazy.
Like I said, thank y'all. Thank you, fellas. Greg, L, John, Kev, thank y'all. Thank everybody for listening and watching. We'll do it again, all right? The conversation continues. Later.